Meet Spider-Man, taken out by the one, the only Scorpion!
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the Hasbro Marvel Legends Retro Scorpion. Oh my god! Finally got this guy in hand. A day late and a buck short, but that doesn't matter. I finally own him. He's in the collection. So let's talk about him. I really like this guy, and he's just a repaint. Some might even say a lazy repaint, but I still have a lot of love for this guy. This won't be a long review because, what you see is what you get. But what you get is so bright, so colorful, so popping off the shelf that I'm a smitten kitten. Because I had the original Scorpion, who is exactly the same sculpt as this. Stop me if I'm wrong. I don't think the tail is different. I don't think the head is... It's all the same unless you tell me I'm wrong. But what I didn't like about that Scorpion was he's a little too true to the comics, which is just he had an all green face, which I never liked because I never understood. Help me out. What does he do? Does he paint his mouth green? Does he paint his nose? His lips? How does this mask work? Stylistically, in a comic book, you can kind of be like, oh, it's just comic styles. But as a three-dimensional character, I just look at it and go, that doesn't make sense. I really don't like it when masks do that, where it's like the mask coming out with the mouth. And I'm just like, how? Are you, before you go out and fight Spider-Man, are you like, I just do my lips there? Okay, perfect. Let's do this. It's it doesn't make any sense. So having the actual flesh tone looks so much better, so much more real, but also as a character, looks so much more expressive. Looks really, really expressive. Hang on, now that I'm thinking about it, I want to make sure this is the same face sculpt. Let me look this up.
You're dead meat, little man.
Okay, one Google search later, and it's really hard to tell. I think it's the same. I really do. I'm pretty certain this is exactly the same. But you know what? It looks so different because it's got so much more life to it. That's just fantastic. And then the lime green, yes, absolutely dig it, because it just makes him feel so alive. Because the other one, it was just all metallic green, and I like my metallic paint, don't get me wrong, but it was just all this one thing, so he wasn't that interesting. Now we got the boots, the hands, and all of that, but most of all, you got the bendy wire tail. Now this is something that I want you guys to know about. If you haven't got this yet and you're going to, you gotta be careful. You gotta be so careful when you bend the tail, hold the tail to bend it. Do not use the backpack as a pivot point to bend the tail from, because it will snap off, as I found with my original Scorpion. And that was frustrating. So yeah, do not expect this to be locked in place with titanium. It ain't. So if you're going to bend the tail, make sure that you are not putting any pressure on the backpack, because if you do, it won't last. Little bit frustrating that, but now you know, and knowing is half the battle. So because they've been so generous with the bendy wire in the tail, that means y'all don't get nothing else. Okay? So the hands are just as they are. You got one slightly open wine drinking hand. Quite tart. And then you've got the clenched fist. And that's kind of annoying. It's come on, guys. Honestly, you throw in so much crap with so many figures, so many webs that no one wants, or nonsense like that. You couldn't at least give him another fist hand so he could have more a put up your dukes kind of look, or another clawy hand so he's yeah, coming to get you. I don't really like the fact that it's one and the other. It just that doesn't do it for me. But that's a small gripe, and that's okay. And I could also say, hey, every Marvel Legend should have two heads. That would be nice, but at the same time, it's not like Matt Gargan is a famous-looking face. Why would you display the Scorpion with anything other than a coming to get you kind of look. It doesn't compute. So honestly, an extra head would probably be surplus to requirements. So that's okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say that on the whole, this figure, yeah, it does show its age a little bit because it's an older body. You got the pins in there as well. It doesn't feel that zhuzhed up. But the brighter paint scheme just ties everything together so nicely that I can't help but kind of like it. So honestly, it's not a groundbreaking figure, but it has enough to really kind of win me over. So with that in mind, I told you I wasn't going to linger on this too long. Let's give him a grade. So for the Marvel Legends Retro Scorpion, I'm going to give this guy a solid 6 out of 10, which is a very good score for an average action figure. This guy right here, arguably you could say is kind of below average. No accessories or anything, but he does have the bendy wire tail, which is like his get out of jail free card. And the fact that just visually, aesthetically, I love how bright and colorful he is. That jacks him up an extra point above the average of 5. But also looking even closer, just the work on this face with the kind of photoreal sort of tech with the dot work that they're doing, whatever it is, I think it's really effective. The lips are just on the correct side for me personally of not looking like lipstick. They are a bit dark, a bit stand out, but that's such a difficult sweet spot to hit. And here I think it's just cartoony enough to look at home in a comic book kind of display. So really, I think that this face, it's the perfect Scorpion face. And look at that, I used the word perfect. Didn't think I was going to be using the word perfect, but there you go. So there's little things like it would be nice to have more actual sculpting on the body, but we weren't going to get that. So for the price and the fact that he does come in the lovely packaging, which is always nice, but again, I just don't have the space to display them like that. This guy is a great overall addition to your Spider-Man rogues. I'm sure that later in the year when Kraven comes out as well, you're going to be building out that animated rogues gallery, the Insidious 6. Yeah, Insidious 6, because apparently sinister was a scary word to use for Saturday morning cartoons, but Insidious, kids are stupid, they won't even know what that means. There you go, 90s cartoons, go figure. But gang, that does it for my review of Scorpion. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think about the action figure? Comment below, let me know. I'm wondering if I did give too high of a grade for a figure that is an old sculpt, an old body that's just repainted. But hey, it's all subjective. And with the bright colors and the fact that he's that final missing last piece of my classic Spider-Man rogues, I'm so happy to have him. So gang, thank you for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee.